Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
These are tough times, and they're getting even tougher. The clock is ticking. The countdown to collapse is well underway. What are you going to do about it? Will you just wait for it to happen, or will you be ready when it happens? The decision is yours, and yours alone. Join myself, Mickey Fulp, Robert Ian, David Morgan, Jeff Berwick, Elijah Johnson, Alan Butler, Gregory Manarino, Daniel Amaduri, Andy Hoffman, Tekoa Da Silva, Trace Mayer, one of the world's leading Bitcoin authorities, Bix Weir, Jay Taylor, and Gary Christensen at the Liberty Mastermind Symposium in Las Vegas on February 21st and 22nd, and learn how to create your plan to survive the collapse. The last Liberty Mastermind Symposium was one of the most highly rated conferences ever, and this one promises to be even better. Don't miss it. Join us and register now at libertymastermind.us. libertymastermind.us. This one is going to be out of this world, and it's going to be even better because it's in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go to Liberty Mastermind US and sign up today. You are listening to the FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1230 WBZT. We got a real short but fast Monday morning with Andrew Hoffman. You need to listen to this. It's important. The clock is ticking. Countdown to collapse is going on now. The dominoes are falling. Andy, how are you?
Good. My audio blog this weekend was called Beginning of the End. And look, it was always a matter of time when 2008 would come back in all its glory. And this time around with, $20+ trillion extra of debt on the balance sheets of the central banks, complete inability to add to them going forward. It's time for hyperinflation. And right now it's starting as we expected it would with the lower tier economies such as the Fragile Five. Yeah.
And you know what's amazing to me, Andy? I just want to bring this up real quickly because I know we're pressed for time. You've got some personal things you got to handle. The BRICS were lecturing the West and the developed countries how screwed up we are, how we've got it all wrong, how you just have to do it our way because we're so smart. And granted, they were correct. The West is totally, well, I don't want to use bad language on the show because I never do, but pretty screwed up. But they were correct. But the BRICS were not the model for prosperity here any more than the West was. Right? I mean,
no, the BRICS are growing faster, meaning they have a greater population growth. They have lower wages than the West. So, the trend has been that business moves there over time and, they're expanding their industries as fast as they can. But the fact is they have all these people to feed and they're still dependent on the money printing of the Western world as far as the general growth of the global economy. And when you have a combination of dramatically weakening economies in large part because of the money printing of the Western world, they're helpless. And as we predicted here in the beginning of the year and last year, it's the currencies that have the inflation exported to them by the Western currencies like the dollar that see it first. That's why you had the Arab Spring, and that's why you're seeing all these collapses in South America and Asia, et cetera, right now. They go first. And then the cancer, my piece on Thursday was called The Financial Cancer is No Longer Dormant. It moves up the totem pole and it kills the head, which is creating the inflation, which is the dollar, the Fed. And right now, the currency collapse has started. It's not turning back. The Western banks are not going to meet this weekend and say, whoa, if we just print money here, we can calm markets. And rest assured, they're going to print money. And it's not going to calm it's not going to calm the situation. This is what we've been waiting for. And whether it starts tomorrow or in 3 months or in a year, the end game has started.
Yes, it has. And what you said is, here's the problem. Regardless who has what, in a fiat-based system, instability is baked into the cake. And whether there's one dominant leader or there's multiple leaders, if your cash is trash and it's tied to nothing, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have instability and you're going to have uprisings. And I don't want to harken back to 1870 to 1913, but that was the golden era of the classical gold standard, when nobody was blowing anybody else up, with minor exceptions like the Spanish-American War and the Russo-Japanese War. You're always going to have these things because we just don't know how to get along with one another, like Rodney Dangerfield. No, not Rodney Dangerfield, I'm sorry. Rodney King said, thanks, Brett. Rodney King said we all got to learn to love one another, but until that day comes about, but
that's
the
right,
fact is,
because we're in the final currency war. We're beggaring thy neighbor. I mean, I was reading an amazing article this weekend talking about the fallacy of how weakening your currencies helps you. The Abenomics, the Japanese Abenomics, which has barely been around for a year, has not only made things worse for Japan. Their inflation has surged and their GDP is flat. But right now, they announced yesterday their largest ever trade deficit. So they can beggar thy neighbor all they want by devaluing their currency, but all they're doing is injuring themselves. And of course, everyone else alongside, because the business, the market share, they get market share. Of course, the money they get is devalued. So the fact is, there is no friends right now. There's going to be increasing trade blocks and enemies, and the important and powerful trade blocks are going to be the ones squaring off against the United States, not with it. Yep,
it's not going to be pleasant out there. And hey, we got some interesting fissures opening up in the banking system around the world too, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, we can't underestimate enough what's going on in China, because as I've written forever right now, they may have a low government debt, but their corporate debt is the highest on earth, because their government basically has participated in fostering $23 trillion of private loans within the country, which they call the shadow banking sector over there. Right now, it's on the verge of complete collapse. And I mean, I'm talking about daisy chain, everything goes right now. There was going to be a major bankruptcy this week. The government came and said, oh, yeah, we're going to backstop that. But remember, the Chinese government has printed more money than the American government did this year. And now they're going to have to print even more as the year goes along to bail out what's falling apart over there. And it's not just over there. I mean, look what's going on in Europe. They're doing these stress tests. They just had at the Davos Forum where you had Draghi said, we will do anything to prevent deflation. And of course, you have Janet Yellen joining the Federal Reserve Board as its chairman this week, who's even more dovish than Bernanke. So get ready for nothing to happen on Wednesday, but more importantly, for the talk in the coming weeks to be of further stimulus. And when that happens, it's all over, because not only are you going to see these emerging currencies fall, you're going to see the Western currencies fall in a big way against items of real value.
Yep. And there's a certain inevitability to all this. And hey, what about the housing numbers coming in? They looked real impressive, weren't they?
Yeah, again, remember our piece last week was called 3.0%. Enough said. The Fed must keep interest rates down, particularly that key 10-year Treasury yield at 3%, because even the tiny increase we've had, the 3% from 1.5%, has caused the housing market to completely roll over. Right now, in fact, you're talking about this morning, the new home sales, which are typically much stronger than existing home sales, fell 11% sequentially, 11% in 1 month. So right now, the only thing that's been keeping up the fake economy, which is, aside from the fake numbers, has been the housing sector, which has been a half of all the GDP growth, if there's been any growth. So that the Fed will have to accelerate the money printing to get those rates back down. Remember, there's nothing better for gold than falling real interest rates.
Exactly. And we're kind of cooked here. And these currencies that are just collapsing in the developing world, it's just breathtaking, isn't it?
It is, and people don't realize that this is what the problem is. Americans are so secular that they don't realize that there's 7 billion other people in the world. My piece today, I just put it out a second ago, called Need versus Want, part, because I wrote 2 years ago how about inflation, when money is printed, it only hits the things that you need to live on, not the things that you want to live on. And right now, what's going on is everything that you need to live on is soaring in price, and everything that you want is going down in price. Cell phone plans are going down in price. Car leases are going down in price. Cereal, look at Special K and Dr. Pepper this morning. This is corporate earnings falling apart. Less taxes paid to the government, etc. But my health insurance, my homeowner's insurance, my internet, my cell phone, all these things, all these prices are going up. But around the world, the effect is magnified because of the inflation that's exported by the Fed. And that's why you're seeing widespread currency collapses, revolutions. Look what's going on in Ukraine and Thailand, and what's soon going to happen in Southern Europe.
Yeah, well, what I'm extremely concerned about, Andy, forget about all the stuff of the world and revolutions and all that. If China collapses, where the heck is my next iPhone with the big screen going to come from?
Well, China's not going to collapse per se. It's still going to be the global leader. They're going to have the manufacturing market share, and they're going to have all the gold, and they're going to have more reserves than anyone else. But they are going to have significant social unrest in the meantime. I doubt that you won't be able to get your cell phone, but as I said, cell phones themselves are not things you necessarily need, or most of it is stuff you just want. It's food that I'm worried about, like what's going on in Venezuela and Argentina right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm still concerned about that cell phone,
Well,
I'm still concerned about that cell phone. I could care less about whether they're eating or not. I want my cell phone.
So does everyone.
You got to have your priorities straight in this world. Cell phone, bullets, gold, guns, and food, right? And
that's the point. That priorities are about to change.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Generations of priorities are about to change.
In all seriousness,
yes.
Let's face it. The bullets and the guns, and you better have some gold and some silver too, right?
Well, again, I'm talking about the dollar falling against real items of value, and when you talk about your actual wealth and not the things that you're using to live, that is gold and silver. That is real items of value. And if you don't have it, A, you're going to lose your wealth, and B, in the worst case scenario, you're going to lose your ability to pay for things. Mm-hmm. Again, worst case scenario. I'm not saying it will happen, but it certainly could.
Yeah. And of course, you got to be thinking about this stuff, right? I mean, you should be thinking about this, shouldn't you?
I think about it every day. And again, people who read me, they know I've been in the sector now for, it'll be 12 years in May, but I had not started to buy physical gold and silver until late 2008 when I saw the first crisis. And not just gold and silver, but again, these things you're talking about, bullets, food, anything you'll need to survive, because it became, now it's about financial defense. It's not about, I'm going to get rich. It's about, you have to protect yourself from the quote, deflation of all the things around you, including the dollars that most of your assets are currently denominated. And if you're not paying these things, then think of what's going on in Venezuela, in Argentina. These are not small countries. Soon to be in Greece, certainly in the Ukraine, and a lot of places around the world right now. They are right now saying to themselves, why didn't I trade in my paper money for items of real value when I had the chance? Because now I can't do it.
Hey, and that's what it really comes down to. It's like, you're in the parking lot, you just got out of the mall, and the mugger comes up to you, and you reach for the gun that you wish you had bought, and you say, why didn't I get that damn gun? Because now I need it. And you don't care about these things until you need them. And that's what it really comes down to. You don't care about money until you need it, You don't care about the gun until you need it. You don't care about gold and silver until you need it.
Yeah.
That's why you need to come to the Liberty Mastermind Symposium as well, because you're going to get the strategies you need to survive this thing. And believe me, you need these strategies. You really, really do.
And it's not just because the stuff is not available, because at some point they'll just say a lot of gold, but the capital controls will not let you get them. So do it now and do it quickly, because if things continue the way that they're going right now, we are going to see that 2014 hyperinflation that John Williams has predicted. And when it comes, there's no turning back. Either you protected yourself or you haven't.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact date it's going to happen, but I really do believe that it will happen. And, it's just a question of when, not if. Mm-hmm. I really believe that it's going to. So that's it. And milesfranklin.com, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. I got like a really cool newsletter coming out this week, Andy. If I can send it out today, I will, on why Johnny can't read, why Comrade de Blasio can't teach, and why New York City should be out of the education business altogether. And just go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com, sign up for the newsletter, and we will see you in Vegas in a few weeks. libertymastermind.us.
Great. Looking forward to it, Kerry.
Hey, you have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week.
Great.
Hi, it's Kerry Lutz. I recently decided to move my retirement account into physical precious metals to hedge against the coming times. If you want to move an existing retirement account into physical precious metals that you can hold in your hand, tax-free, there's no company that can do it more quickly and efficiently than Regal Assets. It took them just 24 hours to open my new IRA account, and all I had to do was fill out one simple form. The best part is that Regal Assets does all the work for you. They cover the setup and administrative costs for 2013. If you're interested in making the same move I did, call 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620. That's 855-678-6620, or visit them at regalassets.com. You'll be glad you did, and tell them Kerry sent you. What happens if the collapse never really comes? You need income, and Jason Hartman can help you get it. He's helped thousands of people realize their dreams of financial independence through real estate investing, and now he's got an unbeatable offer for you. He's offering my ebook, Forget Wall Street, Go for the Gold and Silver Too, for free. Just visit jasonhartman.com/Lutz. The first 100 Financial Survival Network listeners will get the book free. Remember, you can't afford to put all your eggs in one basket. Real estate should be part of a balanced investment portfolio along with gold and silver. Just go to jasonhartman.com/Lutz and sign up today. When it comes to real estate investing, Jason Hartman is the only person we trust on the Financial Survival Network. So make your money work as hard as you do by building an income property empire. Real estate is America's proven investment. Go to www.jasonhartman.com/Lutz and get your free ebook today. That's Jason, HARTMAN.com/Lutz. That's Jason, HARTMAN.com/Lutz. Jason knows how to help you retire with a portfolio of income-producing property. Go to jasonhartman.com/Lutz.
The Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.